1 week intensive Microsoft Office PowerPoint training. Ahmed Khorshid. Genre: Computers and Technology. Target audience: business professionals, students, and administrative staff. Style: e-instructional, visual heavy, and action-oriented. Structure model: Gemini 3a Pro Preview. Content model: Gemini 3a Pro Preview. Table of contents. Introduction: Your journey to presentation mastery midnight. Day 1: Laying the foundation, interface and composition 8 minutes and 12 seconds. Day 2: The visual architect, managing images and layouts 19 minutes and 18 seconds. Day 3: Data storytelling, making numbers speak 30 minutes and 3 seconds. Day 4: Motion and media, bringing slides to life 41 minutes and 10 seconds. Day 5: Advanced interactivity and workflow hacks 51 minutes and 31 seconds. Day 6: The final Polish preparation and delivery tools 1 hour 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Day 7: Design theory and real-world application 1 hour 15 minutes and 45 seconds. Conclusion: Staying sharp beyond the course 1 hour 27 minutes and 38 seconds.
Introduction: Your journey to presentation mastery. Sections. Section 0.1: Why PowerPoint is your most underrated business asset. Section 0.2: How to use this 7-day intensive guide effectively. Section 0.3: Setting up your workspace for maximum efficiency. Section 0.4: Understanding the difference between design and decoration. Most professionals have a complicated relationship with Microsoft PowerPoint. We rely on it daily to communicate strategy, sales figures, and project updates, yet we often dread opening the application. We have all sat in a dim conference room, fighting the urge to check our phones while a presenter reads bullet points off a cluttered screen. This creates a massive opportunity for you. Because the bar for presentations is currently set so low, achieving mastery offers an unfair career advantage. When you can articulate complex ideas with visual clarity, you stop being just another presenter and become a leader who commands the room. This book is not a technical manual meant to gather dust on your shelf. It is a training regimen. Over the next 7 days, we will strip away bad habits, demystify the interface, and rebuild your workflow from the ground up. You are not here to learn where the buttons are, you are here to learn how to make the buttons work for you. Let's begin. 0.1: Why PowerPoint is your most underrated business asset. There is a popular saying in the corporate world, death by PowerPoint. It implies that the software itself is the villain, responsible for boring meetings and confused audiences. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of the tool. Blaming PowerPoint for a bad presentation is like blaming a hammer for building a crooked shelf. The tool merely amplifies the intent and skill of the user. When wielded without training, it amplifies confusion. When wielded with intent, it amplifies influence. Figure: AI-generated diagram showing a communication leverage chart. On the left axis is career impact, on the bottom axis is presentation skill. A linear line goes up, labeled technical knowledge, while an exponential curve shoots upward labeled visual storytelling mastery. The gap between them is highlighted as the professional edge. Think of your favorite TED Talk or the most persuasive sales pitch you have ever seen. The speaker didn't just dump data on the audience, they curated an experience. They used visuals to anchor memory and simplify complexity. In a business context, PowerPoint is your cognitive delivery system. It is the only tool that allows you to combine data analysis, strategic writing, and visual psychology into a single package. If you can master this tool, you become the translator for your organization. You become the person who can take a spreadsheet full of incomprehensible numbers and turn it into a clear call to action. That is not just making slides pretty, that is high-level business strategy. 0.2: How to use this 7-day intensive guide effectively. This book is structured as a boot camp. It is designed to be consumed and applied over one intensive week. While you can read it at your own pace, the curriculum is built on momentum, with each day layering complexity onto the previous day's foundation. Do not skip days. The skills in Day 4, motion, Rely heavily on the structural discipline you will learn in day 1. If you jump straight to the fun stuff without the foundation, your presentations will look like amateur decoration rather than professional design. Here is the roadmap for your week. Day focus area: the goal. For the best results, open PowerPoint alongside this book. Do not just read about the techniques, physically perform them. Muscle memory is a critical part of speed. Figure: AI-generated flowchart showing the learning loop for this book. Step 1. Read the concept. Step 2. Locate the tool in PowerPoint. Step 3. Execute the action. Step 4. Verify with the visual check. Arrows loop back from Step 4 to Step 1. We have included extensive figures and visual guides to ensure you never feel lost. If a concept feels difficult, pause and practice it until it feels natural. We are building a skill set that will last you for the rest of your career. Take the time to get it right. 0.3. Setting up your workspace for maximum efficiency. Before we touch a single slide, we must fix your environment. Most users operate PowerPoint with the default settings, which effectively forces them to work with one hand tied behind their back. The default interface hides your most used tools behind layers of tabs and menus. We are going to change that immediately by utilizing the Quick Access Toolbar, QAT. The QAT is the small row of icons above the ribbon. By customizing this, you can put your top 20 tools one click away, regardless of which tab is currently open. This saves seconds per action, which adds up to hours over the course of a project. Action step: configure your QAT. Right-click anywhere on the ribbon, the gray menu area. Select Customize Quick Access Toolbar. Change Choose Commands from to All Commands. Add the tools you use most frequently. Figure: AI-generated screenshot of the PowerPoint options dialog box focusing on the Quick Access Toolbar tab. An arrow points to all commands in the drop-down. A secondary callout highlights a curated list of essential tools added to the right column: align objects, distribute, bring to front, send to back, and group. Recommended tools to add immediately include align objects, left, center, right, top, middle, bottom, distribute horizontally, vertically, bring to front, send to back, group, ungroup, merge shapes. Once these are set up, you stop hunting through menus. You simply click and move on. This shift from hunting to clicking allows you to stay in a creative flow state rather than being interrupted by administrative clicking. 0.4. Understanding the difference between design and decoration. As we embark on this week, we must clarify a philosophy that will guide every decision you make: design is not decoration. Decoration is adding things to make a slide look nice. It is fluff. It is the clip art, the unnecessary gradients, and the decorative borders that serve no purpose other than filling white space. Decoration distracts the audience and dilutes your message. Design, on the other hand, is functional. Design is the process of arranging elements to make information easier to understand. Figure: AI-generated comparison image. Side A is labeled decoration and shows a slide with a complex background texture, a generic stock photo of shaking hands, and text in a fancy script font that is hard to read. Side B is labeled design and shows the same content on a clean white background, with a bold sans serif header, a clear data chart, and plenty of white space. A checkmark is over side B. Throughout this intensive training, we will ruthlessly cut decoration. If an element does not help the audience understand the data or the story, it must go. You do not need to be an artist to be a great presentation designer. You just need to be an engineer of information. We are aiming for clarity, hierarchy, and impact. Prepare yourself. Open a blank PowerPoint file. Forget everything you think you know about how we've always done it. Your journey to mastery begins now.
Day 1. Laying the foundation, interface and composition. Sections. Section 1.1. Navigating the ribbon and customizing the Quick Access Toolbar. Section 1.2. The anatomy of a slide, placeholders, layouts, and hierarchy. Section 1.3. Text mastery, formatting, alignment, and typography best practices. Section 1.4 Saving Strategies, File Formats, Autosave, and Version History. Welcome to Day 1. We are about to strip everything down to the studs. Many professionals treat PowerPoint like a mysterious black box. They click around, hope for the best, and struggle against the software to make things look decent. This approach leads to frustration, wasted hours, and presentations that break as soon as you try to update them. Today, we stop fighting the software and start making it work for us. We are going to configure your workspace for speed, understand the invisible structure behind every slide, and establish typographic habits that ensure readability. We are building the cockpit from which you will fly for the rest of this week. If you rush through today, the advanced techniques in Day 5 and Day 7 will not work. If you master these basics, you will work twice as fast as your colleagues by tomorrow. Let's get to work. 1.1 Navigating the ribbon and customizing the Quick Access Toolbar. The PowerPoint interface, primarily the ribbon at the top, is designed to be comprehensive. However, comprehensive often means cluttered. To become a power user, you must stop hunting for buttons. We need to minimize the time between thinking of an action and executing it. Understanding the ribbon logic. The ribbon is organized by workflow. It is not random, it follows the order of creation. Home are the tools you use 80% of the time, text, basic shapes, copy to paste. Insert, adding new things to the slide, pictures, charts, icons. Design, changing the overall look, themes, slide size. Transitions, animations, movement and time. Figure, AI-generated diagram of the PowerPoint ribbon. Highlight the tabs in a sequence from left to right: Home, Insert, Design, Transitions, Animations. Use call-out boxes to label this flow as creation, addition, styling, motion. Do not memorize every button. Instead, understand the category. If you need to add something, go to Insert. If you need to change how something moves, go to Animations. The Quick Access Toolbar, QAT. This is your secret weapon. The Quick Access Toolbar is the small row of icons above, or below, the ribbon. By default, it contains Save, Undo, and Start Slideshow. This is a waste of prime real estate. We represent the QAT as your tool belt. A carpenter doesn't walk back to the truck every time they need a hammer, they keep it on their belt. You need to move your most used tools here. How to customize the QAT. Right-click any button on the ribbon, e.g., the Align Objects tool. Select Add to Quick Access Toolbar. The icon now appears permanently at the top of your screen, regardless of which tab you are currently using. Figure, AI-generated screenshot showing a cursor right-clicking the Align Left button on the Home tab. A drop-down menu is visible with Add to Quick Access Toolbar highlighted in yellow. A secondary inset image shows the icon appearing in the top left toolbar. Recommended setup for Day 1, populate your QAT with these essentials immediately: Align Objects, Left, Center, Right, Bring to Front, Send to Back, Group, Ungroup Font Color. This setup alone can save you thousands of clicks over the course of a year. 1.2 The anatomy of a slide, placeholders, layouts, and hierarchy. The biggest mistake beginners make is treating a slide like a blank piece of paper. They click a slide, delete the text boxes, and insert new ones manually. Do not do this. PowerPoint is built on a hierarchy. When you fight this hierarchy, your formatting becomes inconsistent. When you embrace it, global changes become effortless. The power of placeholders. A placeholder is a box that says, click to add title or click to add text. Unlike a standard text box, a placeholder is linked to the slide's underlying code, the master slide, which we will cover later. When you type into a placeholder, 1. The text appears in the outline view, accessible for screen readers and export. 2. The font size automatically adjusts to fit the layout. 3. You can instantly reset the slide if you mess up the formatting. Figure, AI-generated diagram comparing two slides side by side. The left slide is labeled Correct Structure, showing dotted outlines of title and content placeholders. The right slide is labeled Incorrect Structure, showing multiple manual text boxes scattered randomly. A red X is over the right slide, and a green checkmark is over the left. Layouts and the Reset button. Every slide has a layout. Common layouts include title slide, title and content, and to content. If you move things around and the slide starts looking messy, you have a panic button. It is called Reset. Located in the Home tab, next to New Slide, the Reset button forces the slide elements back to their original, perfect positions defined by the layout. Try this. 1. Take a slide with a title and body. 2. Mess it up. Change fonts, drag the title to the bottom, rotate the text. 3. Click Reset. It snaps back to perfection instantly. This only works if you use the native placeholders. Visual hierarchy. Your audience scans slides, they do not read them like a novel. You must guide their eyes using size and position. Level 1, the headline, the largest text. It should summarize the main point, not just describe the topic, e.g., use Q3 revenue increased by 20% instead of financial update. Level 2, the body, bullet points or short paragraphs. Level 3, annotations, data labels or footnotes. Figure, AI-generated illustration of a visual hierarchy pyramid. The top section is labeled Headline, 40 pt+, the middle is Key Arguments, 24 pt+, and the bottom is the supporting data, 14 pt+. Arrows indicate the viewer's eye movement from top to bottom. 1.3 Text Mastery, Formatting, Alignment, and Typography Best Practices. Text is the primary vehicle for information in most business presentations, yet it is often the most abused element. We are aiming for clarity, not decoration. The alignment rule. There is a golden rule in professional design: align text to the left. Center alignment is difficult to read because the starting point of every line changes. The eye has to work harder to find the next line. Justified text, squared off on both sides, creates awkward rivers of white space between words. Titles can be centered or left aligned, be consistent. Body paragraphs, always left aligned. Captions can be left or right aligned depending on the image. Typography do's and don'ts. You do not need to be a graphic designer to choose good fonts. You just need to follow these constraints. 1. Limit your font palette. Use a maximum of 2 fonts. 1 for headers, 1 for body text. Often, using the same font family with different weights, e.g., Arial Bold for headers and Arial Regular for body, is the most professional choice. 2. Mind the flaw. Never use a font size smaller than 18 points for body text. If you have to go smaller to make it fit, you have too much text on the slide. Edit the content, don't shrink the font. 3. Avoid widows. A widow is a single word sitting by itself on a new line at the end of a paragraph. It creates visual imbalance. Our team has been working remarkably hard to achieve these goals. Fix, resize the text box slightly or rewrite the sentence so goals sit with the previous line. Figure, AI-generated comparison graphic. On the left, a text block with center alignment, Comic Sans font and size 12 points text labeled Amateur. On the right, a text block with left alignment, Calibri or Sego UI font and size 24 points text labeled Professional. Detailed callouts point to the ragged edge of the left alignment promoting readability. Formatting shortcuts. Speed comes from keyboard mastery. Memorize these 3 immediately. Ctrl+B, bold, use for emphasis, but sparingly. Ctrl+I, italic, use for quotes or gentle emphasis. Shift+F3, change case, cycles between uppercase, lowercase, and title case. 1 point for saving strategies, file formats, autosave, and version history. You have built the layout. You have styled the text. Now, we must ensure you never lose it. Presentation files are fragile. They get large, they get corrupted, and they get overwritten. A professional has a strategy for data survival. The difference between formats. When you save, you are usually saving a .pptx file. This is the editable working file. However, there are two other formats you should know. Extension name use case. Autosave and version history. If you are using Microsoft 365, and you should be, turn on autosave in the top left corner. This requires saving the file to OneDrive or SharePoint. Why is this non-negotiable? Version history. We have all had that moment where we delete a slide, save the file, and then realize 2 days later that we actually needed that slide. With version history, you can click the title of your presentation at the top of the window, select version history, and time travels back to how the document looked yesterday or last Tuesday. It is your ultimate safety net. Figure, AI-generated screenshot of the top title bar in PowerPoint. A red circle highlights the autosave toggle switch to on. A drop-down menu from the file name shows the version history option. An inset image shows the version history pane on the right side of the screen with timestamps like today 9:41 a.m. and yesterday 4 p.m. Summary of Day 1. Today, you stopped being a casual user. You mapped the ribbon and built a custom quick access toolbar for speed. You learned to respect the slide hierarchy and use placeholders to keep layout stable. You adopted professional typography standards to ensure your audience can actually read your work. You secured your work with proper saving protocols. Your foundation is poured. It is level, and it is drying. Tomorrow, in Day 2, we will start building the walls. We will dive into the world of visual assets, working with images, icons, and shapes to turn your text-heavy slides into visual stories. Get some rest. Tomorrow, we get creative.
Day 2, The Visual Architect, Managing Images and Layouts. Sections. Section 2.1, Working with Pictures, Cropping, Compression, and Background Removal. Section 2.2, Beyond Basic Boxes, Drawing and Editing Custom Shapes. Section 2.3, The Alignment Advantage, Using Grids, Guides, and Distribution Tools. Section 2.4, Unlocking the Slide Master, Creating Consistency and Saving Time. Welcome back. Yesterday, we stripped away the noise and configured your workspace for efficiency. You stopped fighting the software and started controlling it. That was the foundation. Today, we become architects. A presentation is more than just text on a screen, it is a visual experience. The human brain processes images 60,000 times faster than text. If your slides look like a Word document pasted onto a whiteboard, you are ignoring the most powerful tool in your arsenal, visual cognition. In Day 2, we are going to master the art of the layout. We will manipulate imagery with professional precision, break free from standard rectangles, and utilize the invisible grid that makes professional slides look so polished. Finally, we will unlock the Slide Master, the engine room of PowerPoint, to save you hours of repetitive formatting. By the end of today, your slides will look like they were designed by an agency, not just assembled in a rush. 2.1 Working with Pictures, Cropping, Compression, and Background Removal. Amateurs stretch images. Professionals compose them. Nothing destroys credibility faster than a distorted photograph where a circle looks like an oval, or a colleague's face is stretched horizontally. We are going to move beyond simple insertion and start treating images as design elements. The power of the crop. You rarely need the whole photo. Usually, the subject is lost in a sea of unnecessary background. Cropping is your primary tool for focus. Don't just use crop to reduce size, use it to change meaning. If you are talking about a new engine part, crop tight to the metal mechanism. Remove the factory floor behind it. To crop efficiently, select your image and go to the Picture Format tab. Figure. A side-by-side comparison. Left side, a wide shot of a busy office meeting with lots of empty ceiling space. Right side, the The same image cropped tightly to focus on two people shaking hands, creating an emotional connection. Pro tip: use the crop to shape feature. A standard square photo can feel rigid. Cropping a team headshot into a perfect circle makes the slide feel modern and approachable immediately. Removing backgrounds without Photoshop. You do not need expensive external software to isolate a subject. PowerPoint has a surprisingly robust background removal tool built right in. When you have an image with a distracting background, like a product shot on a cluttered desk, select the image and click Remove Background on the Picture Format tab. PowerPoint will make a best guess, turning the background purple. You can then use mark areas to keep, green pencil, and mark areas to remove, red pencil, to refine the edges. Figure: screenshot of the background removal interface. The subject, a coffee cup, is in natural color, while the messy table behind it is highlighted in bright magenta purple, showing exactly what will be deleted. This allows you to place objects directly onto your slide background, making the text flow around them organically rather than boxing everything into rigid squares. Managing file size with compression. High-resolution images are beautiful, but they can bloat your presentation file to unmanageable sizes. If your deck is 50 megabytes, you cannot email it to a client. You must compress images to balance quality with portability. Select any image. In the Picture Format tab, click Compress Pictures. Uncheck Apply only to this picture to compress every image in the deck at once. Choose Web, 150 ppi, for a perfect balance of screen clarity and file size. Figure: the Compress Pictures dialog box with the Delete Cropped Areas of Pictures checkbox highlighted, warning the user that this action is permanent. 2.2 Beyond basic boxes, drawing and editing custom shapes. If you stick to the default rectangles and circles in the Insert menu, your slides will look like everyone else's. To build unique diagrams and layouts, you need to understand that shapes in PowerPoint are fluid. They are made of points and paths that you can manipulate. Merging shapes. This is one of the most underutilized features in PowerPoint. You can create complex custom icons and layouts by combining simple shapes. Select two shapes, e.g., a circle and a square, go to Shape Format, and look for the Merge Shapes drop-down. Union fuses them into one solid shape. Combine cuts out the overlapping area. Fragment breaks every overlapping line into a separate piece, great for puzzles. Intersect keeps only the overlapping area. Subtract uses the top shape as a cookie cutter on the bottom shape. Figure a visual matrix showing two circles overlapping. 5 variations illustrate the result of union, combine, fragment, intersect, and subtract, effectively creating moons, Venn diagrams, and custom toggles. Editing points. Sometimes you need a shape that doesn't exist in the menu. Perhaps you need a triangle with a curved hypotenuse to match your company logo. Right-click any shape and select Edit Points. The border turns red, and black handles appear at the corners. You can drag these points anywhere. White bezier handles allow you to curve the lines connecting the points. Figure a standard rectangle being manipulated via Edit Points. One corner is being dragged inward to create a custom trapezoid, with a cursor hovering over a bezier handle to curve the top edge. This is how professional designers create those sweeping, curved swooshes you see on corporate title slides. They are just rectangles with modified points. 2.3 The alignment advantage, using grids, guides, and distribution tools. The difference between messy and professional is often a matter of pixels. When objects are slightly misaligned, the audience feels a subconscious sense of unease. They may not know why the slide looks amateur, but they can feel the lack of structure. Stop eyeballing your layout. We are going to use the tools that guarantee perfection. The grid and guides. Turn on your guides immediately. Right-click off the slide canvas, go to Grid and Guides, and check Display Drawing Guides. You will see a vertical and horizontal crosshair in the center of the slide. You can drag these to mark your margins. Hold Ctrl while dragging a guide to duplicate it. I recommend setting up a safe zone around the edge of your slide, usually about 1 cm or 0.5 inches from the edge. Nothing important goes outside these guides. This ensures your content doesn't get cut off by a projector or a printer. Figure: a slide layout showing a distinct safe zone created by 4 dotted guides. The content is strictly contained within the guides, illustrating clean negative space, margins, dot. The Align and Distribute tools. Never try to drag 3 boxes into a row manually. You will fail. Instead, select the objects, go to the Home tab, or Shape Format, select Arrange, and find the Align menu. Align top middle bottom snaps all objects to the same vertical coordinate. Distribute horizontally. This is the magic button. It calculates the space between the first and last object and spaces everything in between perfectly evenly. Figure: a before and after diagram. Top: 3 icons are scattered and uneven. Bottom: the same icons are perfectly aligned in a row with equal white space between them, labeled Distribute horizontally applied. Make it a habit. Select, Align, Distribute. It takes 3 seconds and adds a layer of polish that commands respect. 2.4 Unlocking the Slide Master, creating consistency and saving time. We end today with the most important efficiency tool in PowerPoint, the Slide Master. Novices duplicate slides and manually delete or move elements on every single page. If the boss says, move the logo to the left, the novice has to edit 50 slides. The architect edits the master. Understanding the hierarchy. Go to View Slide Master. You are now behind the scenes. On the left pane, you will see a hierarchy. The big slide, parent. This is the theme master at the very top. Anything you put here, a logo, a footer, a background graphic, will appear on every slide layout below it. The smaller slides, children. These are the specific layouts: title slide, title, and content, to content. Changes here only affect slides using that specific layout. Figure: the Slide Master navigation pane. The top parent slide is highlighted in gold. Arrows flow down to the child layouts, indicating inheritance of design elements. Creating your own templates. Do not settle for the default bullet point layout. In Master View, you can insert placeholders. These are the boxes that say click to add text or click to add picture. Create a custom layout for your specific needs. If you frequently present team bias, create a layout in the master with a circle picture placeholder on the left and a text placeholder on the right. Now, when you are in normal view, you just click New Slide and choose your team bio layout. It's consistent every time, and the formatting is locked in. Figure: a screenshot of the Insert Placeholder menu in Slide Master View, showing options for content, text, picture, chart, and table. A custom layout is being built on the slide canvas. The rule of the master: if you find yourself pasting the same object onto more than 3 slides, stop. Put it on the Slide Master. Summary of Day 2. Today, you transformed from a user into an architect. You learned that images are raw materials meant to be cropped and shaped, not just pasted. You discovered that shapes can be merged and molded to fit your vision. You embraced the grid to enforce order, and you unlocked the Slide Master to automate your consistency. Your slides are now structurally sound and visually cohesive. Tomorrow, in Day 3, we tackle the heavy lifting, data visualization. We will take boring spreadsheets and dry tables and turn them into compelling narratives that drive decisions. Rest well. The structure is built. Tomorrow, we pour the concrete.
Day 3, Data Storytelling, Making Numbers Speak. Sections. Section 3.1, Choosing the Right Chart, Matching Data to Visuals. Section 3.2, Integrating Excel, Linking Data for Dynamic Updates. Section 3.3, Transforming Bullet Points into Engaging Smart Art Graphics. Section 3.4, Designing Tables that are clean, readable, and professional. Welcome to Day 3. Yesterday, we focused on the visual architecture of your slides, images, layouts, and grids. You learned how to make a presentation look professional. Today, we turn our attention to making it meaningful. We are tackling the most common pain point in the corporate world: data. Most presenters dump a spreadsheet onto a slide and hope the audience can figure it out. They confuse showing data with telling a story. The result is usually a slide cluttered with tiny numbers, confusing legends, and aggressive grid lines that obscure the actual insight. Data storytelling is not about simplifying the numbers, it is about clarifying the message. Your goal is to guide the audience's eye to exactly what matters, instantly. Today, we will bridge the gap between Excel analysis and PowerPoint persuasion. We will turn static tables into clean visualizations and bullet points into dynamic graphics. Let's give your data a voice. 3.1 Choosing the right chart, matching data to visuals. A chart is not just a picture of your data. It is the answer to a specific question. Before you click Insert Chart, ask yourself, what am I trying to show? Are you comparing values? Showing a trend over time? Revealing a relationship? If you don't know the question, the audience won't understand the answer. Many users default to a pie chart or a clustered column chart because that is what PowerPoint suggests. This is often a mistake. We need to be intentional about our geometry. Figure, AI-generated diagram showing a chart selection decision tree. The root node asks what is your goal. Branches lead to comparison, bar, column, trend, line area, composition, tree map, donut, and relationship, scatter plot. Each endpoint shows a simplified icon of that chart type. The hierarchy of clarity. Not all charts are created equal. The human brain struggles to compare angles, pie charts, or area sizes, bubble charts, accurately. We are, however, excellent at comparing lengths and positions. If you are comparing sales across 5 regions, use a bar chart, horizontal. It allows for long labels and easy left-to-right reading. If you are showing revenue growth over 12 months, use a line chart. It implies movement and continuity. Avoid 3D charts entirely. They distort the data, making front bars look smaller and back bars look larger due to false perspective. Professional design is flat, clean, and honest. Cleaning up the noise. Once you select the right chart, you must strip away the chart junk. Default PowerPoint charts come with heavy borders, excessive grid lines, and redundant legends. Follow this rule: if it doesn't support the data, delete it. Remove the legend, instead, label the data lines or bars directly. This stops the eye from ping-ponging back and forth between the graphic and the key. Soften the grid lines, change them to a light gray or remove them entirely if you have data labels. Title with a takeaway: don't title a chart Q3 sales. Title it Q3 sales exceeded targets by 15%. Figure, AI-generated comparison image. Left side, the default, a 3D clustered column chart with dark grid lines, a side legend, and a generic title. Right side, the storyteller, a flat, clean 2D bar chart with direct labels on the bars, no grid lines, grayed out non-essential bars, and an active color highlighting the key data point. 3.2 Integrating Excel, linking data for dynamic updates. The bane of every analyst's existence is the quarterly review update. You spend hours formatting a chart in PowerPoint. Then, 10 minutes before the meeting, your boss sends an updated Excel file. If you copied and pasted your data, you have to start over. We are going to break that cycle today. We will set up a dynamic link between Excel and PowerPoint. When the data changes in the source, your slide updates automatically. The Paste Special workflow. Never just hit Ctrl+V. That embeds a static snapshot or, worse, the entire Excel workbook, which bloats your file size. Here is the professional workflow. In Excel, select your chart or data range and press Ctrl+C. In PowerPoint, navigate to the Home tab, click the arrow under Paste, and select Paste Special. The critical step, select the radio button that says Paste Link. Choose Microsoft Excel Worksheet Object. Create image for Figure, AI-generated screenshot off PowerPoint Paste Specials dialog box. A red circle highlights the Paste Link radio button option, and an arrow points to its Microsoft Excel worksheet object in the selection list. Managing the link. Now, your PowerPoint slide is a window into your Excel file. If you change a number in Excel, the PowerPoint chart updates instantly. However, links can be fragile. If you rename the Excel file or move it to a different folder, the link will break. To manage this, go to File Info, Edit Links to Files. This option only appears if links exist. Use this feature to update sources or lock links when you are ready to distribute the final PDF. It is your safety net against broken presentations. Figure, AI-generated diagram illustrating the data flow ecosystem. On the left, an Excel icon with data tables. An arrow labeled Dynamic Link points to a PowerPoint slide on the right. A caution symbol indicates don't move source files to warn the user about file management. 3.3 Transforming bullet points into engaging SmartArt graphics. We talked about the wall of text on day 1. Today, we kill it. Lists are useful for groceries, but they are boring for presentations. If you are describing a process, a cycle, or a hierarchy, bullet points fail to convey the relationship between items. PowerPoint has a built-in tool called SmartArt. Most people misuse it by accepting the ugly, colorful defaults. We are going to use it as a wireframing tool to speed up your design process. The one-click transformation. You don't need to build boxes and arrows manually. Type your bullet points. Right-click anywhere in the text box. Select Convert to SmartArt. Hover over the options to see a live preview of your text transforming into a process flow or cycle. Figure, AI-generated visual sequence. Step 1, a text box with a bulleted list, research, design, prototype, test. Step 2, the mouse cursor selecting Convert to SmartArt. Step 3, the text transformed into a sleek, horizontal chevron process flow arrow. Breaking the SmartArt curse. The problem with SmartArt is that it looks like SmartArt. It screams generic corporate slide. Here is the secret used by professional designers: ungroup it. Once you have converted your text to a SmartArt graphic and have the layout you want, select the graphic. Press Ctrl plus Shift plus G, ungroup, twice. The first ungroup turns the SmartArt into a collection of shapes. The second ungroup separates them entirely. Now, you have standard shapes that you can resize, recolor, and animate individually. You used SmartArt to generate 9E the layout, then broke it apart to apply your own design style. Figure, AI-generated diagram showing the ungrouping concept. A generic blue SmartArt cycle is shown on the left. An arrow labeled Ctrl plus Shift plus G, X2, points to the right, where the same cycle is now composed of individual, custom-colored shapes with better typography and spacing. 3 point for designing tables that are clean, readable, and professional. Tables are often the ugliest part of a presentation. They are usually dense, hard to read, and look like they were ripped directly from a database. Your audience cannot read a spreadsheet on a projector screen. They need a summary. The data-ink ratio. Edward Tufte, a pioneer in data visualization, coined the term data-ink ratio. It asks, how much ink is used to show data versus how much is used on decoration? In a table, the grid lines are usually unnecessary decoration. They trap the data in little prison cells. To clean up a table, remove vertical borders, let the white space separate the columns. Lighten horizontal borders, use a thin, light gray line to separate rows, or use banded rows, alternating light gray and white backgrounds, to guide the eye. Align correctly, text should be left aligned. Numbers should always be right aligned. This ensures the decimal points line up, making the numbers comparable at a glance. Heat mapping for focus. If you have a large table and cannot reduce the data, use color to guide the eye. This is called heat mapping. Don't color every cell. If you want to highlight the lowest costs or the highest sales, change the fill color of just those specific cells to a bold color, like teal or orange, and dim the rest of the text. This technique tells the audience, you can ignore the gray numbers, look at the colored ones. Figure, AI-generated comparison of tables. Top, the clutter, a table with thick black grid lines, centered text, and centered numbers, making it hard to scan. Bottom, the clean, a table with no vertical lines, thin gray horizontal lines, left-aligned text, right-aligned numbers, and the top-performing row highlighted in a soft blue highlight. Summary. Data is only as good as your ability to communicate it. Today, you learned that a chart is an answer to a question, not just a decoration. You learned to link Excel so your data stays fresh, convert boring bullets into visual flows, and strip the prison bars off your tables. You are no longer hiding behind the numbers. You are using them to drive your narrative. Tomorrow, on day 4, we bring these static elements to life. We will cover animation and motion, not to make things bounce around, but to control the flow of information and keep your audience on the edge of their seats. Get some rest. Tomorrow, we make things move.
Day 4, Motion and Media, Bringing Slides to Life. Sections. Section 4.1, The Morph Transition, Creating Cinematic Movements Effortlessly. Section 4.2, Animation Essentials, Entrance, Emphasis, and Exit Effects. Section 4.3, Sequencing and Timing, Using the Animation Pane like a Pro. Section 4.4, Multimedia Mastery, Embedding and Trimming Video and Audio. Welcome to Day 4. We have spent the last 3 days building static masterpieces. You know how to structure a slide, arrange visual elements, and visualize data. But right now, your presentation is still a series of frozen snapshots. Today, we breathe life into them. However, a word of warning before we begin: motion is a magnifier. If your content is good, motion makes it cinematic and engaging. If your content is weak, animation makes it annoying and amateurish. We have all suffered through presentations where text spirals onto the screen or clip art bounces distractingly. That is not what we are doing today. We are moving beyond decorating with animation. We are going to use motion to control the audience's eye, explain complex processes, and create seamless transitions that feel less like a slideshow and more like a video. We will turn your presentation into a cohesive narrative flow. Let's get moving. 4.1 The Morph Transition, Creating Cinematic Movements Effortlessly. If you take only one thing away from today, let it be the Morph Transition. Introduced in 2016, this feature is the single greatest leap forward in PowerPoint history. It allows you to create high-end motion graphics without needing to know a single thing about animation paths or timelines. Morph works differently than standard transitions like fade or push. Instead of just switching slides, Morph looks at the objects on slide A and looks for them on slide B. It then calculates the smoothest path to move, resize, and recolor those objects to get them to their new destination. Figure, AI-generated diagram showing the Morph concept. The left side shows slide 1 with a small blue circle in the bottom left corner and a large headline at the top. The right side shows slide 2 with the same circle now large and centered, turning green, and the headline moved to the subtitle position. An arrow connects them labeled Morph Transition, showing the ghosted path of the circle growing and moving. How to execute the perfect morph. The secret to morph is the duplicate workflow. Never create the second slide from scratch, always duplicate the first one to ensure PowerPoint recognizes the objects are the same. Build your starting slide, arrange your objects exactly where you want them to begin. Duplicate the slide, right-click the thumbnail in the left pane and select Duplicate Slide, or press Ctrl+D. Rearrange the copy. On the new slide, move, resize, or rotate the objects to their final position. Apply Morph. Go to the Transitions tab and select Morph. PowerPoint handles the math between the two states. This is perfect for zooming in on details of a product, moving a data point from a chart to a callout box, or shifting focus from one team member to another. Figure, screen capture illustration of the Transitions ribbon in PowerPoint. The Morph button is highlighted with a red glow. Below the ribbon, a storyboard strip shows 3 slides. Slide 1, Planet Earth zoomed out. Slide 2, zoomed into Europe. Slide 3, zoomed into France. Arrows indicate the smooth transition flow. The exclamation point trick for forcing morphs. Sometimes, you want one object to morph into a completely different object, like a square turning into a circle, or a photo turning into a logo. By default, PowerPoint might just fade them out and in because it doesn't realize they are related. You can force PowerPoint to morph distinct objects by renaming them in the selection pane. Open the selection pane, Home Select Selection pane. Rename both objects on consecutive slides with the same name, starting with 2 exclamation points, such as logo. This code tells PowerPoint, these are the same object, force the shape to change. Figure, detailed screenshot of the selection pane on the right side of the workspace. It highlights an item named Hero Image on slide 4 and another item named Hero Image on slide 5. A visual indicator shows the first object is a square and the second is a star, illustrating that the name links them despite the shape difference. 4.2 Animation Essentials, Entrance, Emphasis, and Exit Effects. While Morph handles transitions between slides, animation handles movement on the slide. This is where most business professionals go wrong. They click Add Animation, pick something random, and move on. We are going to use the intentional motion framework. Before adding an effect, ask, where do I want the audience to look right now? The 3 categories. PowerPoint groups animations into 3 color-coded categories. Understanding the psychology of these categories is crucial for professional Polish. Entrance, green bringing an object onto the stage. Use fade or fly in, with a short duration, to introduce new points one by one. This prevents the audience from reading ahead while you speak. Emphasis, yellow drawing attention to an object already on stage. Use pulse or fill color to highlight a specific row in a table or a specific part of a diagram when you mention it. Exit, red removing an object. Use this sparingly. It is usually better to just move to the next slide, but fade out is useful to declutter a slide as you move to a new topic without changing the background. Figure, a clean reference table showing professional versus amateur animation choices. Column 1 lists amateur choice, bounce, swivel, random bars. Column 2 lists professional choice, fade, wipe, zoom. Column 3 explains why, e.g., fade is subtle and doesn't steal focus, bounce creates unnecessary visual noise, dot. Direction and smoothness. The default settings for most animations are stiff and robotic. For example, the default fly-in comes from the bottom and stops abruptly. To fix this, always check the Effect Options button next to the animation gallery. Change the direction to match the logic of your slide, e.g., if a timeline goes left to right, make the text wipe from the left. Furthermore, almost every motion looks better with a smooth end. Right-click an animation in the animation pane, go to Effect Options, and drag the smooth end slider slightly to the right. This adds a subtle braking effect, making the object settle into place naturally rather than hitting a wall. Figure, a diagram showing the Effect Options dialog box. The smooth start and smooth end sliders are highlighted. A graphical curve illustrates the velocity difference. One line is linear and jagged, default, the other is a curved S-shape, earthed smooth motion, dot. 4.3 Sequencing and timing, using the animation pane like a pro. The animation pane is your timeline editor. If you do not have this pane open while animating, you are flying blind. Open it via the Animations tab. This pane tells you the story of your slide. It shows you what happens first, what happens second, and how long each action takes. Breaking the click habit. The hallmark of an amateur presentation is the click, wait rhythm. You do not want to click your mouse 50 times for one slide. You have 3 trigger options for every animation. On click, mouse icon, the animation waits for you. Use this for your main talking points where you need to control the pace. With previous, no icon, the animation happens at the exact same time as the one above it. Use this to animate complex diagrams together. Text and shapes should appear simultaneously, not separately. After previous, clock icon, the animation starts automatically once the previous one finishes. This creates a cascade effect. Figure, detailed screenshot of the animation pane. It shows a list of 5 animations. The first is marked with a mouse icon, on click. The second and third have no icon, with previous. The fourth and fifth show a small clock icon, after previous. A timeline bar to the right shows the cascading duration of these effects. Creating the cascade. To make a list of bullets or a group of images feel elegant, do not have them all appear at once. Select all the objects. Apply a fade or float in animation. Set them all to start, with previous. Now, use the delay field. Leave the first at 0.00, set the second to 0.15, the third to 0.30, and so on. This creates a waterfall effect where items flow onto the screen in quick succession without you needing to click. It looks highly produced but takes seconds to set up. Figure, visual timeline representation of the cascade effect. 3 bars represent 3 animations. They are staggered like stairs. The caption explains, offsetting start times by 0.15s creates a fluid sequence rather than a blocky appearance. 4.4 Multimedia Mastery, embedding and trimming video and audio. Static images are powerful, but video transports the audience. Whether it is a product demo, a customer testimonial, or a looping background, video must be handled correctly to avoid technical embarrassment. We have all seen the black rectangle of doom, a video that won't play, or a presenter frantically hunting for the mouse cursor to hit the play button on a screen behind them. Embed, don't link. In older versions of PowerPoint, videos were linked, meaning if you emailed the PPT file but forgot the video file, the presentation broke. Modern PowerPoint defaults to embedding, which stores the video inside the presentation file. This increases file size, but it ensures safety. Always check file info, optimize media compatibility before a big presentation to ensure your embedded videos will play on different computers. The playback ribbon. When you click a video, a playback tab appears on the ribbon. This is your control center. The most critical setting is start. Change this from in click sequence to automatically, if you want it to start when the slide loads, or leave it as click-based only if you need to set the scene first. Never force yourself to find the play button on the screen during a talk. It breaks eye contact with the audience. If you need control, set the video to start on click, which means clicking anywhere on the slide, via your clicker remote, will trigger the video. Figure, screenshot of the Video Tools Playback tab. 3 specific areas are circled. 1. The Trim Video button. 2. The Start drop-down menu set to automatically. 3. The Play Full Screen checkbox. A pro tip: bubble points to the volume slider, suggesting setting it to low for background videos. Trimming and formatting. You rarely need the whole video. You usually need the 10 seconds that matter. Use the Trim Video button in the Playback tab. This opens a simple editor where you can drag green, start, and red, end, markers. Do not make your audience wait through a boring intro, cut straight to the action. Finally, treat the video like a shape. You can apply a border, a drop shadow, or even rotate it. You can also drag the corners to resize it. If the video is a supporting element, do not let it dominate the slide, integrate it into your grid layout just like a photograph. Summary of Day 4. Today, we transformed your presentation from a static document into a dynamic experience. You learned that motion is not about decoration, it is about directing attention and reducing cognitive load. Here is your checklist for today's practice. 1. Try the morph, duplicate a slide, move objects, and apply the morph transition. 2. Audit your animations, remove any bounces or swivels. Replace them with fades and wipes. 3. Check your timeline, open the animation pane. Do you have too many clicks? Use with previous to smooth out the flow. 4. Insert media, embed a video, set it to play automatically, and trim the excess footage. Tomorrow, on Day 5, we will tackle the most intimidating aspect for many users: advanced interactivity and nonlinear presenting. We are going to break the rule that says slide 5 must always follow slide 4.
Day 5, Advanced Interactivity and Workflow Hacks. Sections. Section 5.1, Nonlinear Presenting, Using Summary Zoom and Slide Zoom. Section 5.2, Creating Interactive Menus with Hyperlinks and Action Buttons. Section 5.3, Collaboration Features, Comments, Sharing, and Co-authoring. Section 5.4, Keyboard Shortcuts and Hidden Features to Double Your Speed. Welcome to Day 5. We have spent 4 days building the car. You know how to construct the chassis, Day 1, paint the body, Day 2, tune the engine with data, Day 3, and add the aerodynamics of motion, Day 4. Now, we are going to learn how to drive it like a professional racer. Most users view PowerPoint as a linear tool. You start at slide 1, click Next, and eventually land on the Thank You slide. This rigid structure kills engagement because it forces the audience to follow your script rather than their curiosity. Today, we break that line. We are going to transform your static deck into an interactive dashboard. We will build navigation systems that allow you to jump to any topic instantly, turning your presentation into a dynamic conversation. Furthermore, we are going to address the biggest hidden cost in presentation design, your time. By the end of this chapter, you will master workflow hacks and shortcuts that will literally double your production speed. Let's get to work. 5.1 Nonlinear Presenting, Using Summary Zoom and Slide Zoom. Have you ever been in a meeting where an executive asks, "Can we go back to the budget slide?" and the presenter frantically hits the back arrow 20 times while the room watches in awkward silence? That ends today. Nonlinear presenting allows you to navigate your content like a website, not a cassette tape. The most powerful tool for this is the Zoom feature. It creates a dashboard slide that lets you jump to specific sections and then automatically zooms back out when you are finished. The Summary Zoom. Think of Summary Zoom as a visual table of contents. Instead of bullet points listing your agenda, you have live thumbnails of your sections. When you click one, you dive into that section. When that section ends, you fly back to the menu. Figure, AI-generated diagram showing a hub and spoke model. The center circle is labeled Summary Zoom Slide. Arrows point outward to 4 surrounding slides labeled Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, and Section 4. Curved return arrows show the path going back to the center. To create a summary zoom, go to Insert Zoom Summary Zoom. PowerPoint will ask you to select the beginning slide of each section. Click Insert. PowerPoint generates a new slide with thumbnails. The beauty of this feature is that it is dynamic. If you change a slide inside Section 1, the thumbnail on your summary slide updates automatically. The Slide Zoom. While Summary Zoom is for structure, Slide Zoom is for flow. Use this when you want to drill down into a detail without losing the context of the main slide. Imagine you have a map of the United States. With Slide Zoom, you can click on California, zoom in to see the sales data for that state, and then zoom back out to the full map. Figure, a 2-part visual. Left side, a main slide containing a map with 3 small distinct circular icons. Right side, a close-up view where the camera has zoomed into one of those icons to reveal a detailed chart. An arrow indicates the transition between the 2 states. Pro tip, you can change the image of the Zoom thumbnail. You do not have to show a tiny version of the target slide. You can replace the thumbnail with an icon or button, making the interactivity feel seamless and hidden. 5.2 Creating interactive menus with hyperlinks and action buttons. Summary Zoom is great for sections, but sometimes you need a persistent navigation bar, like the menu on a website, that appears on every slide. This is vital for kiosk presentations, training decks, like this book, or massive corporate decks where you need to jump between appendix data and the main story. Building the navigation bar. We return to the cockpit concept from day 1. We do not build this menu on every single slide, we build it once on the slide master. Go to View Slide Master. Select the top parent slide. Insert shapes, rectangles or icons to serve as your buttons, e.g., Home, Data, Contact, Appendix. Right-click a shape and select Link or Hyperlink. Choose Place in this document and select the destination slide. The Invisible Home button. Here is a trick I use in almost every deck I build for clients. I place a transparent action button over the company logo usually found in the bottom corner of the master slide. I link this invisible button to slide 1 or the agenda slide. To the audience, it looks like a logo. To me, it is a panic button. No matter how deep I am in the Q&A or appendix slides, one click on the logo brings me right back to the start. How to create it. 1. Insert Shapes Action Buttons, select the blank rectangle. 2. Draw it over your logo. 3. Set the link to your desired slide. 4. Set the shape fill to no fill and shape outline to no outline. 5.3 Collaboration features, comments, sharing, and co-authoring. We need to have a serious conversation about version control. If your desktop contains files named presentationfinal.pptx, presentationfinalv2.pptx, and presentationfinalrealgymsedits.pptx, you are working harder than necessary. This legacy workflow creates confusion and version conflicts. Modern PowerPoint, part of Microsoft 365, is designed for the cloud. The modern commenting engine. Stop emailing lists of bullet points with feedback. Context switching destroys focus. Place your feedback directly on the canvas. When you insert a comment, insert comment, you can now use it mentions. If I type at Sarah, she gets an email notification with a link that takes her directly to that specific slide. Figure, a split-screen illustration. On the left, a PowerPoint slide with a comment bubble icon near a chart. On the right, a zoomed-in view of the comments pane showing a thread. User A says at John Doe, please verify these Q3 numbers. User B replies updated. User M marks the thread as resolved. Co-authoring in real time. When you save your file to OneDrive or SharePoint, multiple people can edit the deck simultaneously. You will see colored flags indicating where your colleagues are working. This allows you to work on the design in Section 1 while your finance lead updates the charts in Section 3. A warning on co-authoring: while powerful, it can be chaotic if unmanaged. Establish no-fly zones. If you are formatting the master slide, tell your team to stay out of the master view until you are done. PowerPoint struggles to reconcile changes if two people try to edit the exact same object at the exact same time. 5.4 Keyboard shortcuts and hidden features to double your speed. Amateurs click. Pros use the keyboard. Every time you move your hand from the keyboard to the mouse, navigate a menu, click a button, and move back, you lose 2 seconds. That adds up to hours over the course of a project. We are going to configure your weapon of choice, the Quick Access Toolbar, QAT, and the Alt key. The Alt key magic. Press and release the Alt key on your keyboard. Look at the ribbon. You will see letters and numbers appear over every tab and command. You do not need to memorize complex combinations like Ctrl plus Alt plus Shift plus V. You just need to follow the map. If you press Alt, then N, Insert, then X, text box, you have just inserted a text box without touching the mouse. The Custom Quick Access Toolbar, QAT. This is the single biggest productivity hack in Office. The QAT is the small row of icons above, or below, the ribbon. By default, it has Save, Undo, and Redo. That is a waste of prime real estate. You can customize this to hold your most used tools, align, distribute, send to back, group, and pick up style. Why this matters: when you put your top 5 tools in the first 5 slots of the QAT, you can access them with Alt+1, Alt+2, Alt+3, etc. Figure, a close-up diagram of the PowerPoint interface header. The Quick Access Toolbar is highlighted with a glowing box. It shows custom icons for Align Left, Align Top, Group, and Ungroup. Number overlays, 1, 2, 3, 4, hover above these icons to indicate the keyboard shortcut correspondence. The speed table. Commit these to muscle memory. Do not try to learn them all at once. Pick 3 today, and use them until they are automatic. Action shortcut, Win, why it helps. The Shift key rule. In almost every situation in PowerPoint, holding Shift constrains proportions or angles. Drawing a circle? Hold Shift for a perfect circle. Resizing a photo? Hold Shift so you don't squash it. Rotating a line? Hold Shift to snap to 15-degree increments. Summary. Today, you moved from being a slide builder to a slide master. We abandoned the linear prison of next slide by using Zoom to create conversational presentations. We built interactive navigation systems so you are never lost in your own content. We streamlined your collaboration to stop the version control madness. Most importantly, you learned that speed comes from the keyboard, not the mouse. You are now working faster and smarter than 99% of your peers. But efficiency is only half the battle. Tomorrow, in day 6, we will pivot to the human element. We will focus on delivery, rehearsal, and handling the anxiety that comes with standing in front of the room.
Day 6. The final Polish, preparation and delivery tools. Sections. Section 6.1. The accessibility checker, ensuring your message reaches everyone. Section 6.2. Speaker notes and presenter view, your secret weapon on stage. Section 6.3. Rehearsing timings and recording narration for remote viewing. Section 6.4. Export options, turning slides into PDFs, videos, or handouts. Welcome to Day 6. We have spent the last 5 days building a high-performance machine. You have mastered the interface, engineered beautiful layouts, visualized complex data, added cinematic motion, and built interactive navigation. Your presentation file is technically perfect. But a PowerPoint file sitting on a hard drive changes nothing. A presentation only succeeds when it is delivered. Today, we shift our focus from designing to delivering. We are going to ensure your file is robust, your message is accessible to every member of your audience, and most importantly, that you are technically prepared to stand on stage or on a Zoom call without fear. The content we cover today is your safety net. It is the difference between an amateur who panics when the projector creates a glitch and a professional who handles it without missing a beat. Let's polish this diamond. 6.1 The accessibility checker, ensuring your message reaches everyone. In the rush to meet deadlines, accessibility is often the first thing dropped. This is a mistake. Accessibility is not just about compliance or ticking a corporate box, it is about clarity. When you design for accessibility, you inevitably design a cleaner, better structure for everyone. If a screen reader cannot navigate your slide, your visual audience is likely confused, too. Microsoft has built a powerful auditor right into the software. We are going to use it to catch errors you didn't even know you were making. Running the audit. Go to the Review tab and click Check Accessibility. A pane will open on the right side of your screen. This is your quality control center. It categorizes issues into errors, critical problems, warnings, potential confusion, and tips. Figure, AI-generated diagram showing the PowerPoint interface with the Review tab selected. The Check Accessibility button is highlighted. On the right, the accessibility pane is open, displaying a list of errors expanded to show missing alt text and check reading order. Do not ignore this list. Work through it top to bottom. Mastering alt text. The most common error you will see is missing alt text. Alt text provides a description of an image for visually impaired users. However, it also serves a secondary purpose. It forces you to articulate why that image is there. If you struggle to write a sentence describing the image's value, the image is likely decorative clutter. Mark it as decorative in the pane, or delete it. If it adds meaning, describe it concisely. The reading order pane. This is the hidden gem of PowerPoint. Screen readers read objects based on the order they were added to the slide, not where they sit visually. This often results in a chaotic jumble of text and images for those using assistive technology. In the Accessibility pane, click on Reading Order. This creates a visual list of every element on your slide. Figure, AI-generated diagram showing the reading order pane. It displays a list of slide elements, title, content placeholder, image 1, caption. Arrows indicate the ability to drag and drop these items to reorder them. The slide area shows numbered tags on each element corresponding to their order in the list. You can drag and drop items here to fix the flow. Ensure the title is first, followed by the body content in a logical sequence. This ensures that when you share your deck later, the structure holds up. 6.2 Speaker Notes and Presenter View, your secret weapon on stage. The biggest fear presenters face is forgetting what to say. To combat this, many people pack their slides with bullet points to use as a crutch. We destroyed that habit in day one. Your slides are for the audience, your notes are for you. We are going to set up Presenter View, which acts as your personal teleprompter. It creates a firewall between what you see, your dashboard, and what the audience sees, the show. Writing effective notes. Avoid writing a script. If you read a script, your voice becomes monotone and you lose eye contact. Instead, type keywords or trigger phrases in the Notes section at the bottom of the PowerPoint window. Include cues for your animations. For example, click 1, reveal revenue data. Click 2, highlight Q4 variance. Figure, AI-generated diagram showing the bottom section of the PowerPoint workspace, normal view. The Notes panel is pulled up, showing bulleted cues, intro concept, pause for questions, and click to advance chart. The text is large and legible. The dashboard, presenter view. When you connect to a projector or share a screen, PowerPoint should automatically enter presenter view on your laptop while sending the full slide to the external display. If it doesn't, press Alt plus F5 to force it. Familiarize yourself with this cockpit. You have a timer, essential for pacing, your next slide preview, so you know what's coming, and your notes. Pro tip: look for the icons beneath the main slide view. The pen tool allows you to draw on the screen in real time. But the most powerful tool is the black screen button, or press B on your keyboard. Pressing B turns the screen black, shifting all attention away from the slide and onto you. Use this when you want to make a crucial point or answer a question. Press any key to bring the slide back. Figure, AI-generated diagram of the presenter view interface. The main area shows the current slide. The top right shows a smaller preview of the next slide. The right column contains scrolling speaker notes. A timer counts up in the top left. The bottom toolbar highlights the laser pointer pen tool and the black screen icon. 6.3 Rehearsing timings and recording narration for remote viewing. In a hybrid work environment, you won't always present live. You may need to send a deck for someone to watch on their own time. If you just send the PPTX file, they will click through it in 30 seconds and miss all your nuance. The solution is to embed your delivery directly into the file. Rehearsing timings. Before you record, you need to know your pace. Go to the Slideshow tab and click Rehearse Timings. PowerPoint will launch the show and start a timer. Speak your presentation out loud. Advance the slides exactly when you would in real life. When you finish, PowerPoint will tell you the total duration. If you planned for 15 minutes and you just clocked 22, you need to cut content. Do not try to speak faster. Cut the content. Recording the slideshow. Figure, AI-generated diagram showing the Rehearse Timings toolbar in the top left corner of the slideshow mode. It displays a slide time clock, 0:45, and a total time clock, 5:12. Icons for pause, reset, and next are visible. Once your timing is tight, go to Slideshow Record. This opens the recording studio. You can record your voice and webcam video, if you choose, slide by slide. The beauty of this tool is that it saves the audio per slide. If you mess up on slide 12, you don't have to restart the whole presentation, just re-record slide 12. Use the digital laser pointer while recording. These movements are captured in the video, guiding the remote viewer's eye just as if you were in the room. 6.4 Export options, turning slides into PDFs, videos, or handouts. You have finished your presentation. The client asks for a copy. Do not just email the PowerPoint file. Sending the raw file is risky. Fonts might not display correctly on their computer. Images might shift. Or, they might accidentally edit your data. You need to lock it down. The Universal Standard, PDF. For most business contexts, PDF is the safest bet. It freezes your layout and fonts exactly as you designed them. Go to File Export, create PDF XPS document. However, remember that PDFs flatten everything. Your animations, transitions, and embedded videos from day 4 will not work. If your presentation relies heavily on motion to explain a concept, a PDF will look like a broken comic book. The video export. If you use the record feature in section 6.3, or if your animations are critical, export as a video. Go to File Export, create a video. Select Full HD, 1080p. Ensure Use Recorded Timings and Narrations is selected. This renders your presentation as an MP4 file. You can upload this to YouTube, Vimeo, or a company intranet. It ensures the viewer sees the presentation exactly as you intended, timing and all. Figure, AI-generated diagram of the File Export menu. The Create a Video tab is selected. Drop-down menus show Full HD, 1080p, and Use Recorded Timings and Narrations. A prominent Create Video button is at the bottom. Creating professional handouts. Sometimes people need a place to take notes. Printing full-page slides wastes ink and space. Go to File Export, create handouts. Click on Create Handouts again to send your content to Microsoft Word. This is a hidden power feature. It extracts your slide thumbnails and your speaker notes into a Word document. From there, you can format it as a professional leave-behind document or a study guide. Figure, AI-generated diagram showing the Send to Microsoft Word dialog box. Options include notes next to slides, blank lines next to slides, and notes below slides. The Paste Link radio button is selected to maintain a connection to the source file. You have now prepared your file, practiced your timing, and created the perfect formats for distribution. You are no longer just a designer, you are a producer. Tomorrow, in our final session, we will look at the long game. We will discuss how to turn all this work into reusable templates and customized themes so you never have to start from scratch again. Get some rest. You are ready for the stage.
Day 7. Design Theory and Real-World Application. Sections. Section 7.1. Color Psychology and Creating Custom Theme Palettes. Section 7.2. Design Principles for Non-Designers, Contrast, Repetition, and White Space. Section 7.3. Case Study, a Before and After Slide Makeover Walkthrough. Section 7.4. Building Your Own Reusable Corporate Template. Welcome to Day 7. Congratulations. You have arrived at the final day of our intensive training. Over the past week, we have dismantled the PowerPoint interface, mastered layout architecture, tamed data, orchestrated motion, built nonlinear navigation, and prepped for high-stakes delivery. You now possess the technical skills of the top 1% of PowerPoint users. However, knowing how to use the hammer does not make you an architect. Today, we bridge the final gap between software operator and visual communicator. We are leaving the technical manuals behind and entering the design studio. Today is about the why. Why do we choose blue over red? Why does one slide feel professional while another feels cluttered? The answer lies in design theory. We will demystify the rules used by graphic designers and translate them into practical steps for business professionals. By the end of this chapter, you will not just be building slides, you will be curating experiences. You will walk away with a custom corporate template and the confidence to turn any messy text document into a compelling visual narrative. Let's finish strong. 7.1 Color Psychology and Creating Custom Theme Palettes. Color is the first thing an audience notices, often before they read a single word. It sets the emotional baseline for your presentation. A neon green background screams discount flyer, while a deep navy whisper corporate stability. Many presenters rely on the default Microsoft Office colors. This is a mistake. Using default colors signals that you didn't care enough to customize your message. Understanding color psychology. You do not need an art degree to use color effectively. You just need to understand the subconscious associations your audience already has. Blue, trust, security, intelligence. The standard corporate color for a reason. Red, urgency, passion, danger. Use sparingly for emphasis, never for backgrounds. Yellow, optimism, caution. High visibility but hard to read against white. Green, growth, money, harmony. Great for positive financial data. Gray, neutrality, balance. The perfect supporting actor for vibrant accent colors. The 60-30-10 rule. Figure, AI-generated diagram showing a color emotion wheel. The wheel is segmented into 8 colors. Each segment lists 3 key emotions associated with that color in a business context, e.g., blue, trust, tech, stability. The center of the wheel shows a Venn diagram comparing warm colors versus cool colors and their energy levels. How do you mix these without creating a rainbow disaster? Use the interior design rule, 60-30-10. 60% primary color, this is your neutral base, white, light gray, or dark navy. It goes on the background and shapes the slide. 30% secondary color, this is your brand color. It is used for headers, shapes, and graphical elements. 10% accent color, this is your pop color. It is used exclusively for call to actions, data highlights, or urgent points. Configuring your theme in PowerPoint. Do not manually change the color of every shape. You must set this at the theme level. This ensures that if you change your mind later, the entire deck updates automatically. Go to the Design tab. Click the arrow next to the Variants box. Select Colors, Customize Colors. Here, you define the logic of your presentation. Accent 1 is usually your primary brand color. Accent 6 is often your chart series color. Once saved, this palette appears in every color drop-down menu in the software. You have now locked your design consistency. Figure, AI-generated screenshot of the Create New Theme Colors dialog box in PowerPoint. Callout bubbles explain the mapping. Text/background 1 is the main slide background, accent 1 is the primary bar chart color, and hyperlink is the interactive text color. An arrow points to the Save button with the label naming your custom palette. 7.2 Design Principles for Non-Designers, Contrast, Repetition, and White Space. You don't need to be a designer to make slides look designed. You simply need to adhere to 3 fundamental laws: contrast, repetition, and white space. When a slide looks off, it is almost always violating one of these 3 rules. Contrast, make it stand out. Contrast is about hierarchy. If everything on the slide is bold, nothing is bold. If every box is the same shade of blue, the viewer doesn't know where to look. Contrast creates a path for the eye. You can achieve contrast through size, make the headline 44 points and the body text 18 points. Color, make the key data point red and the rest gray. Weight, pair a heavy, bold font with a thin, light font. The squint test, squint your eyes until the slide becomes blurry. Can you still tell what the most important element is? If not, you lack contrast. Repetition, the glue of consistency. Repetition creates professional polish. It implies that the presentation was thought out as a cohesive whole, not cobbled together slide by slide. Use the same bullet point style on slide 2 and slide 50. Keep your headers in the exact same X/Y position. Use the guides we set up in day 2. Use consistent iconography styles. Don't mix 3D clip art with flat line icons. White space, the oxygen of design. Figure, AI-generated visual comparison titled The Power of Repetition. The left side shows 3 slides with inconsistent header placements, different bullet styles, and mixed fonts. The right side shows the same 3 slides with aligned headers, identical fonts, and unified iconography, demonstrating a cohesive look. White space, or negative space, is not empty space, it is an active design element. It is the breathing room that allows your content to be understood. Novices fear white space. They try to fill every pixel with logos, legal disclaimers, and decorative borders. This increases cognitive load, a concept we touched on in day 2. Crowded slides feel frantic and confusing. Spacious slides feel expensive and confident. The rule: if you are debating whether to make an image larger or leave more white space, choose the white space. Give your content room to live. 7.3 Case Study, a before and after slide makeover walkthrough. Theory is useless without application. Let's look at a real-world scenario. We have a standard strategic review slide, the kind you see in every Monday morning meeting. The before slide, title, Q3 Strategic Overview and KPI Analysis 2024 Content, 5 distinct paragraphs of text, size 12 points. Visuals, a pixelated image of a handshake in the corner. Background, a generic blue gradient with a watermark logo. The problem: the audience reads the text instead of listening. The message is buried. Figure, AI-generated image of a bad PowerPoint slide. It features a cluttered layout, a pixelated stock photo of a handshake, a busy gradient background, and a wall of text containing 5 dense paragraphs. Red X marks indicate lack of hierarchy and poor readability. The makeover process. We are going to fix this using the skills from day 2, layout, day 3, data, and day 7, design theory. Step 1, strip the noise, white space. We remove the gradient background and make it solid white. We delete the handshake image. We remove the logo watermark, it's likely already on the title slide. Step 2, synthesize the content, contrast. We read the 5 paragraphs. We realize there are actually only 3 key points. 1. Revenue is up 15%. 2. Customer retention dropped. 3. We are launching a new product in Q4. Step 3, visual structure, repetition. We replace the paragraphs with a 3-column layout. Each column gets a clear, bold header, size 24 points. Step 4, visualize the insight for revenue up 15%. We use a large green data visualization, day 3 skill. For retention dropped, we use a simple downward arrow icon in a warning color, orange. For new product, we use a high-quality photo of the prototype, day 2 skill. The after slide, the slide now breathes. It has 3 distinct focal points. The audience understands the status of the company in 3 seconds. This transformation didn't require artistic talent. It required editorial courage, the willingness to delete what didn't matter to highlight what did. Figure, AI-generated image of the good PowerPoint slide, the makeover. It uses a clean white background. It features a 3-column layout. Left column, large green 15% text. Middle column, an icon of a downward trend. Right column, a crisp photo of a product. There is ample white space and clear, large headers. 7.4 Building your own reusable corporate template. We end our journey with the ultimate productivity hack, the corporate template. You should not be setting up guides, fonts, and colors every time you start a presentation. You should do it once, save it, and reuse it forever. The Slide Master Architecture. Recall from day 2 that the Slide Master is the blueprint. To build a template, we work exclusively in the Master view, View Slide Master. The checklist for a robust template: 1. Define fonts, set your heading and body fonts. 2. Define colors, set your theme colors, as discussed in section 7.1. 3. Placeholders, create custom layouts. If your team frequently uses picture on left, text on right, build that specific layout in the master. 4. Safe zones, draw permanent guides on the master slide to ensure logos and page numbers never overlap with content. Saving as a template file, .pox. This is the critical step most people miss. If you save the file as a standard PowerPoint, .pptx, you risk overwriting your original file every time you use it. You must save it as a PowerPoint template, .pox. Click File Save As. Change the file type dropdown to PowerPoint template, .pox. Save it in your custom Office templates folder. Windows usually defaults to this. Now, when you open PowerPoint and click New, your custom template will appear under the Personal tab. When you open it, PowerPoint creates a fresh, unsaved copy, Presentation 1. You can never accidentally ruin your master file. Figure, AI-generated diagram of the Save As workflow. It highlights the drop-down menu selecting .pox format. A secondary graphic shows the new presentations screen with the Personal tab selected, showing the custom template available for selection. Conclusion: you are the architect. We have covered a tremendous amount of ground in 7 days. You started with a tool that likely frustrated you. You end with a tool that empowers you. You now understand that PowerPoint is not a word processor, it is a canvas. You know that data is not just numbers, it is a story. You know that animation is not decoration, it is direction. And today, you learned that design is not art, it is function. As you go forward, remember the core philosophy of this book: respect your audience. Every skill you have learned, from the cropping tool to the Morph Transition, serves that single purpose. When you respect your audience's time and attention by building clear, beautiful, and impactful slides, you don't just share information. You gain influence. The training is over. The application begins now. Open a blank deck. Set your colors. Draw your grid. Create.
Conclusion: staying sharp beyond the course. Sections. Section 8.1, curating your personal library of assets and icons. Section 8.2, keeping up with updates, where to find new features. Section 8.3, troubleshooting common presentation disasters. Section 8.4, final encouragement and next steps for continuous learning. You have completed the intensive week. Take a moment to appreciate the shift in your skill set. 7 days ago, you likely viewed PowerPoint as a necessary evil, a tool for typing bullet points into boxes. Today, you understand it as a canvas for visual communication, data storytelling, and interactive experiences. But software does not stand still, and neither does skill. The difference between a participant who forgets this course in a month and one who becomes the PowerPoint guru of their organization is maintenance. Technical skills atrophy faster than muscles if they are not used. This final chapter is your maintenance plan. We are moving from learning to sustaining. We will cover how to build a personal toolkit that saves you hours of work, how to handle the inevitable technical failures, and how to keep your edge as the software evolves. 8.1 Curating your personal library of assets and icons. The secret of high-efficiency designers is that they rarely start from zero. Amateurs open a blank white slide every time they start a new project. Professionals open their asset deck. You need to build a central repository, a single PowerPoint file or a folder structure where you store the elements you have built or customized. When you create a perfect data table, a complex diagram, or a beautifully animated transition, save it to your library. Building the asset deck. Create a master PowerPoint file named mydesignAssets.pptx. Create section dividers within this deck for specific categories, icons, grids, charts, and photos. Whenever you successfully manipulate a vector icon or create a custom shape merge, as we learned in Day 2, copy it here. Over time, this file becomes your greatest productivity tool. Instead of rebuilding a timeline graphic, you simply copy it from your asset deck and use the Format Painter. Figure, AI-generated diagram showing a split-screen view. On the left is a current project slide. On the right is an asset library file open. An arrow indicates dragging a pre-formatted complex timeline group from the asset library to the current project, demonstrating reuse efficiency. The power of SVGs and custom icons. Stop relying on Google Images for low-quality JPEGs. As we discussed, scalable vector graphics, SVGs, are the gold standard because they can be recolored and resized without quality loss. Curate a folder on your computer specifically for these assets. Organize them by concept, e.g., communication, finance, strategy, rather than by visual style. Design assets. Icons SVG. Finance. People. Tech. Brand logos. Vector formats. Transparent PNGs. When you download icon sets, strip them of their original colors and save them as neutral gray or black. This ensures that when you import them, they are ready to accept your presentation's specific theme colors immediately. 8.2 Keeping up with updates. Where to find new features. Microsoft PowerPoint is now a service, not just a product. If you are using Microsoft 365, the software changes almost monthly. Features like Morph, Cameo, and Designer, AI layout suggestions, appeared via cloud updates, transforming workflows overnight. If you do not pay attention to updates, you will continue working the hard way while a new button exists to do it instantly. The What's New pane. Get into the habit of checking the What's New pane inside the application. It is often ignored, but it highlights the exact features Microsoft has just rolled out to your specific build version. Figure, AI-generated screenshot of the PowerPoint interface focusing on the Help tab and the What's New megaphone icon. A callout bubble highlights the release notes side pane showing a new feature announcement like Cameo or Copilot. The Insider Program. If you are a true enthusiast, consider joining the Microsoft 365 Insider Program. This allows you to access features months before the general public. However, use this with caution on your primary work computer. Beta features can sometimes be unstable. It is often better to have a secondary installation for testing bleeding-edge tools while keeping your production machine on the stable release channel. To check your current status, go to File Account. Look under Product Information. Check for the Microsoft 365 Insider drop-down to sign up if eligible. 8.3 Troubleshooting Common Presentation Disasters. You can design the most beautiful deck in the world, but if the projector fails or the fonts break, your audience will not care about your design theory. In high-stakes environments, Murphy's Law applies: if it can go wrong, it will. The font missing panic. This is the #1 killer of slide design. You use a beautiful modern font like Montserrat, but the presentation computer only has Arial. Your text wraps incorrectly, images get pushed off screen, and the slide looks amateurish. The fix: always embed your fonts. Go to File Options, Save, and check Embed Fonts in the file. Choose Embed All Characters to allow for editing on the destination machine. Figure, AI-generated close-up diagram of the PowerPoint Options Save menu. A red circle highlights the checkbox Embed Fonts in the file. A secondary warning icon shows Embed All Characters selected, with a note explaining this increases file size but guarantees safety. The video won't play crisis. Embedded videos are notorious for failing when moved between Mac and PC, or when codecs are missing. The fix: the Optimize Media Protocol. Before finalizing your deck, go to File Info. If PowerPoint detects media that might be incompatible with other devices, an Optimize Compatibility button will appear. Click it. It converts odd video formats into standard MP4s that play universally. The aspect ratio mismatch. You designed in 16:9 widescreen, but the conference room projector is an old 4:3 square model. Your slides will either be squished or have massive black bars. The fix: know the venue ahead of time. If you are forced to switch ratios at the last minute, do not just change the slide size setting, it will distort your images. You must manually check the ensure fit versus maximize prompt, and then likely spend 20 minutes adjusting layouts. Pro tip: always carry a PDF version of your deck. If the computer fails, the fonts vanish, or the version is wrong, a PDF will always look exactly how you designed it. It loses animation, but it saves the meeting. Figure: AI-generated flowchart titled The Disaster Decision Tree. It starts with projector failed, branches to use handouts. Fonts broken, branches to switch to PDF. Video stalled, branches to narrate the gap, do not debug live. The path leads to successful delivery regardless of technical failure. 8.4 Final encouragement and next steps for continuous learning. You now possess a skill set that places you in the top tier of business communicators. However, the most dangerous trap is falling back into old habits because they are faster. It is always faster to type a bullet point list than to visualize a process. It is always faster to use a default template than to build a grid. Resist the urge to be average. The one slide a week challenge. Do not try to overhaul every presentation you ever make starting tomorrow. You will burn out. Instead, commit to the one slide rule. In every presentation you deliver, pick one high-value slide, usually the executive summary or the financial conclusion, and apply everything you learned here. Use the grid. Use icons. Use motion to tell the story. Over time, this practice spreads. Your asset deck grows. Your speed increases. Share the knowledge. The best way to solidify what you have learned is to teach it. When a colleague asks, "How did you get that image to merge with that shape?" or "How did you make that menu clickable?" take 5 minutes to show them. Teaching reinforces your own understanding and establishes you as a leader in visual communication within your team. A final reflection. PowerPoint is not the presentation. You are the presentation. The slides are merely the backdrop for your insights. The goal of this intensive training was not just to make you better at software, it was to remove the friction between your ideas and your audience. Now that you have mastered the tool, you can stop thinking about the software and start focusing entirely on the story. Go build something brilliant.